Dude,
So,
also I saw the most heinous first take video of all time this morning. It was like Stephen A, what is your initial thought on
oh
the
goodness.
Colorado Georgia Tech game? He's like, man, my initial thought, he's like, Colorado would have won with Shedeur Sanders. And it's just like, dude,
Good analysis.
it's like, all
Riveting,
right,
dude,
dude,
riveting.
like
Holy
get this
shit.
man off TV. He
Great
definitely
shot.
like there's no
Great
way he
shots.
watched that game.
Yeah, no way. He didn't watch Haynes King and Caden Salter get into
God
an
no.
RB duo.
So
Dude,
I like that quarterback. Like he completed a few passes, but like Shedeur would have won that game.
it's like, yeah, well, that's like the point of college football is like you only have a limited amount of time, like with the squad, and like naturally the roster just like turns over. And,
It is funny that Colorado actually looks like a pretty like decent team.
dude, yeah,
It was like a
I'm with
good. I
that.
think they looked better than they did last year overall, in my opinion. Although
Their
I
last
thought
lines
the
of
same
scrimmage,
thing.
their lines of scrimmage
their line of scrimmage didn't get pushed around, which I thought was
improved.
surprising. But
I do think it's kind of easier for their line of scrimmage. Like with Shadur, he's a pocket quarterback, and like they struggled in pass protection. And so with Caden Salter, you're actually getting a running back. So you don't have to like, dude, you can run some chicken shit on college football or college offense and like get away with it. It's nice.
yeah,
Did the
well,
AP come out today?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Ohio State's first.
Also, Colorado. I mean, they have. I don't know if you've seen the discourse of the Browns, but Colorado was giving them the ones on OL though. I mean, the Browns were being racist and giving them the fifth string. Great. Just
I
a
don't,
great shout from
Um,
RG3 and the fellas saying that they gave Shadur like the seventh string O line, and it was
I
like,
saw there was a Jeff Schwartz tweet because like people were
yeah,
saying
that's
that
what I
as a
saw.
Valerie. He was like, yeah, like I remember when I was fighting for a roster spot as like a third string lineman when like the coach was like, yeah, when this quarterback's in the game, make sure like you play way worse because like we want to sabotage him. I know we spent a draft pick on him and everything, but like we want him to be terrible. So like make sure you give up extra pressures.
You missed the memo, bro. Pate just dropped his JP poll.
oh, really? What's he got?
Jesus Christ.
Oklahoma still top 10?
They are actually 10th. Florida, 8th. Wow, riveting performance versus LIU. They're 8th.
What's the
Clemson,
top?
9.
What's the top
Utah's
five?
at 14, bro. Utah, and we'll get into that. They looked
They
like
fucking look
They look
good. They
damn
look
good.
good.
Dan Pierre, dude. I mean,
Nico
I'm
looked
not going to
bad
say
too.
it. Yeah, sad,
Yeah, Nico.
Daddy Malavo.
Dude, they play UNLV this week. That's actually a fun game.
Yeah, that is a
And
fun game.
UCLA is only favored by 2.5, but even after their first game, I don't
We
think
should
I
throw the WVU
Yeah.
and the UNLV game on the pick.
just we'll take out Michigan,
How is-
Oklahoma, just put in that one. The sack
Why was
bowl.
Bama at 12 in the JP poll?
Yeah, I don't understand that. Okay, and
Well, they shouldn't slide.
FSU
We'll talk
FSU
about
at 20. I'm sorry, no, not yet. Come on, like
Oh, you want to
there's
see a
no
little more?
there's no way their power rating increased that much.
Their talent composite's probably pretty good. So one like good performance.
I think it's funny they
skewed the
jump
model.
into the top 25 in the AP too.
They're like 14, right?
Yeah, they're
Well,
14.
it's better than somebody said they should be. Oh, well, Danny Cannell, he said that they should be ranked like third, and I'm like, okay,
I'm
like
like, okay.
what are
Danny
we?
Cannell.
He's
Yeah,
Isn't,
those-
is it,
Not
he's-
ranked to third in 1 week.
he's a Florida State alum as well. So
Yeah, well, yeah, he's just
That's a grain of salt statement right there.
yeah.
Like Utah, they're probably better than Florida State, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think, dude, Dan Pierre looked just efficient, man. I can't
dude,
get
they
enough
look
of that. 21 of
dude.
like 25 and just
Dude.
like physically imposed their will.
and he
they
was,
dominated.
He did the
them.
running back thing too. He was like he
Yeah.
was doing his
He
shit.
ran 87 yards, but you can be a running back all you want when you're doing 10 yards of pop and you're
Dude,
scoring.
yes.
throwing
And
two
dude, he threw
touchdowns.
for like 200 some with
Yeah,
good
no,
completion percentage, like a
great.
80,
I mean,
80s.
that was an efficient ass offense. That makes me fired up because
Yeah.
now I think they should be the favorite in the Big 12 if you could replicate that week to week. But I don't know. We'll see.
They have to be the favorite right now in the Big 12.
I think so.
I'm gonna check the
Pate
betting
said
odds.
they are. I think Pate said they were on Sunday during that show. But
We can get into this later, but I also think that Arizona State might lose this week.
Sam was on that. So this was. Oh yeah, guys, you didn't know.
I-
Me and Sam, we in-person hangout in Johnstown, PA this week. Got a little
Nice.
reunion. Yeah.
Watched every single snap of the Cox game.
Yes, yes, we did.
how about it?
They're trying to take a family photo like on the first drive. Every
Yeah.
picture, I'm just like,
Well, I guess we'll get into that. That game was
Sam's
some
Yeah,
uninspiring.
Utah's plus 425 Texas
All
Tech
right.
plus 475.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
All right. Without further ado, we're going to get into episode 4 of the Forward Pass pod with myself, Charlie Mill in Indiana, Pennsylvania. We've got Luke Duska in Elon, North Carolina, Caleb Archer in Macon, Georgia, Sam Perry in Austin, Texas. Just flew in last night. How we feeling, fellas?
Someone tossed the Macon comment on the YouTube. I saw that. Might have been me.
Yeah,
Never did
might have
that.
been you.
I got you, Arch.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Um,
Good. Excited
yeah.
for another week of college football. I feel like we just got done with the one because they played on Labor Day for some reason. But we're back for week 2 already. So
Yeah, I'm excited to go. We're going to get through some of the big games. We're going to go through the Ohio State-Texas slugfest. We'll get to the Notre Dame Miami incredible football game, the LSU Clemson game, which I'm sure we all have a lot to say. We'll hit Bama FSU. We'll let Arch and Sam take their Boise USF victory lap, plus lots more. We'll preview all of week 2 as well. So we are in for a long college football episode where we recap and preview week 1 and week 2. Without further ado, though, we are going to start with Ohio State, Texas. Caleb Archer, take it away.
yeah, so just to recap, it's exactly what the kind of game that we all thought that we were going to get on this pod last week. We said it was going to be a pretty slow, kind of disgusting game, and we got that exactly to a T. Truly, we were on that. Just a little recap if you didn't watch. You didn't really miss anything. A lot of good defensive plays. So little explosiveness from either offense. 2 quarterbacks starting their first game or first meaningful game. I know Arch started a few games last year. And you really kind of saw what kind of identity they're going to have on defense. I mean, both these defenses are going to be top 5 units in the country for the year, and that's without a doubt. That was never in question. It was kind of to see how fast either of these offenses would mesh. And both of them did not mesh at all that well. So, like I said, got about what we expected. Arch, kind of brutal debut, but also kind of expected. And if you thought anything that he was going to light the world on fire and come this week 1, that's your own fault for having bad expectations. So I thought this is exactly what we thought we were going to get. Very competitive play on defense in the trenches in the line of scrimmage. So, yeah, I'll kick it to y'all to see if y'all have any other thoughts on that.
Yeah, I felt like this was kind of the theme of the weekend here with just offenses being behind in general. I kind of agree with Pete. We always make fun of him for saying like, well, what is he rated? And I think there was just an overall way too high of an expectation for Arch going in this game. But I still think there's some positives for Texas to take out of this. Good defensive performance. It's a tough environment that you're in, and really didn't play your best game on offense, and yet still had plenty of chances to win. So, and credit to Ohio State making big plays when it mattered. And I think we're going to see these two play meaningful games in January. So good start to the year for both teams. A lot of positives to take out of that slugfest that we all predicted, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's nothing to be concerned about on a Texas front. It was probably pretty irresponsible the fact that Arch Manning was the favorite to win the Heisman in the first place. And like Arch said, anyone that expected a ground shattering performance in his first big start on the road against a really, really stout defense. I mean, it was pretty unreasonable to think that was going to happen. Just a quick point on Ryan Day. I think there was a lot of questions entering the game about Ohio State. They had 2 new coordinators, Matt Patricia and Brian Hartline, and they lost a lot of talent on offense and on the D line, etc. And I think this game especially was a testament to the infrastructure that Ryan Day has built within the Ohio State program, being able to replace 2 really high-level coordinators with 2 more, which seem to be 2 more high-level coordinators, and replacing all that talent they lost and beating the AP ranked #1 team in the country in the first week with a new quarterback. I think that's just speaks a lot to where Ryan Day has taken this Ohio State program, and obviously they should be considered in the upper echelon, like top tier of college football, which they are. And this game was a testament to that.
Duska, a perfect pivot point off of your take about Ohio State. I was just thinking watching this game that Texas and Ohio State are just in two different parts of their evolution as football program. Ohio State's 4 to 5 years ahead of where Texas wants to be. And you could see that. I think it's really important to point out like Julian Sand played pretty well. They didn't ask him to do a ton. He made a couple of big throws, the one to Carnell Tate in particular. They ran the ball effectively. They played really good defense. They made no bad special teams error. They didn't give. They made Texas take the game, and Texas did not have the speed at wide receiver, nor did they have the quarterback play necessary to go beat Ohio State at the shoe. And I do think it's really important that we know, like, hey, Ryan Day has built, I think the only the football program in college football that can say they have equal to above Ohio State's pedigree is Michigan or Georgia. Georgia winning back-to-back in 21 and 22 holds a lot of merit. And then Michigan, obviously, they're the only program that seems to be able to beat Ohio State on a regular basis. I do think like Ohio State's the kind of the crown jewel, and they showed you that. And I think Texas, if you give Sark 4 more years, like maybe his program looks a little bit more like Ohio State, but that was just a program win. New starting quarterback, you replace a ton of production on the defensive line. Jeremiah Smith doesn't play his best game, and you still get production out of the receiver unit. I just thought that was a veteran-ass performance from Ryan Day and everybody at Ohio State. Does anybody have anything more to say about that?
Yeah, so Texas was 5 for 14 on third down, 1 for 5 on fourth down, which is a definite padlock stat. You mentioned the receivers before. Do you think there's extended long-term concern that Texas should have with kind of having that vertical threat? Because they were able to run the ball pretty effectively, but I mean, obviously that passing attack was pretty disjointed.
Yeah, I think they're gonna have to get the tight ends going better than what they had because they lost. Who was that guy they lost to the draft last year that I'm blanking on his name? 85. Um,
Gunnar Helm.
yeah, Gunnar Helm. So that you could definitely tell they missed that. I think Ryan Wingo is a top 10 receiver in the country. But I think against really good like defensive backfield. So I'm trying to think about maybe against a Georgia. You know, when you play the most elite defensive backfields and with some elite scheme like Matt Patricia has, then they might run into some struggles. But I do think like at the end of the day, like if Arch just plays better, they'll be okay. They'll be okay all this year, and they've got a lot of time to get this ball rolling. This one, we're not in the BCS anymore. Like, there's no need to panic in Texas. Now, if you drop a game or two more in the SEC play, then we can hit the panic button. But I'm still on the Texas wagon.
Yeah, what you just said there too, Charlie. Texas has 3 games. The next 3 games are San Jose State, UTEP, and Sam Houston. So they have 3 games to kind of get that offense cooking again, and kind of figure out who's going to emerge as your top receivers and get that vertical threat going. But then I think this is going to set up for a really intriguing matchup against them at the Swamp. I know Florida plays LSU right before that in Miami, so it could be a desperation game for both sides. In the SEC and for Texas to kind of just keep their playoff hopes alive, and you never know with Florida. So I think they will be just fine.
So with that, we're gonna move on to my favorite game of this weekend, Notre Dame Miami. We saw just wonderful football. We saw just a veteran program who just didn't let up the rope. And we also saw a Miami team that looked like they might have graduated to a different level of evolution as a college football program. So with that, I'll shove to Duska. Duska, what are your thoughts about this game?
Yeah, absolutely. This was a really fun game to cap off a good Sunday after a huge slate of games on Saturday. Final score was Miami 27, Notre Dame 24. Carter Davis hit a game-winning field goal or a go-ahead field goal to put Miami ahead with less than 2 minutes left, I think. Good job by Miami not opting to let Burt Auburn kick the football for them. That was definitely a smart decision on Mario Cristobal's part. The box score was a little underwhelming on both sides for this game. I think that was just a testament to both defenses showing up and playing a really strong and stout defense. Didn't really allow anything to get going on the ground. I think Miami ran the ball effectively. And speaking of that, I just want to talk about Miami's line of scrimmage for a second. The world revolves around the Philadelphia Eagles, so I'm going to give them a little Eagles comp with the way that this team's structured. I think they have one of the best offensive lines in the country. We talked about Markel Bell, Francis Malinois, and Inez Cooper last week in our preview. They absolutely dominated up front, gave Carson Beck a ton of time to get in rhythm. They ran the ball, like I said, it wasn't eye-popping numbers on the ground, but they ran the ball very effectively. And then on the defensive side, Ruben Bain and Akeem Mesidor were absolute issues for Miami, and the Notre Dame front was having trouble stopping them all game. I'd love to call good edges sawed-off shotguns. These two were definitely sawed-off shotguns on the edge. They held the Notre Dame rushing attack in check, which is a really good indicator for how strong they are, because a team like Notre Dame is personified by their ability to run the football and control the line of scrimmage. So Miami being able to be that stout against them was pretty impressive. And I think overall, Miami was just very opportunistic and converted when it counted, and they were able to get to the quarterback in crunch time. From a Notre Dame perspective, I mean, obviously this is a pretty good Notre Dame team. I think CJ Carr looked pretty solid, made some good throws in this first start. He had that awesome passing touchdown at the end of the first half. Like I said, their defense was pretty solid against the run. Um, they just had a few unfortunate turnovers, but I think I have faith in Marcus Freeman to use this loss as a building block. I think they'll get stronger on the ground game as the season progresses, and this offense will get rolling at some point as Carr gets more comfortable, gets more starts under his belt. And this is Notre Dame, so they kind of have two big-ish regular season games. I think they play Virginia or no, Texas A&M next. So that's a big one. But after that, they really have an opportunity to get rolling and get downhill. Uh, do you guys have any thoughts on the game?
You, oh, you got go, Arch.
Yeah, I think, like you said, super entertaining game. Probably my favorite game of the weekend, just from like a back and forth schematic, just like competitive, just all around, just great football game. Really enjoyed watching. Like I said, good day for the Carson Beck truthers. I was excited and I was very encouraged to see his performance. I liked what he showed. Also, insane catch by C.J. Daniels on that. That was probably the play of the weekend. I was a little confused in the first half on Mike Denbrock's play calling for Notre Dame, kind of the unusage, I guess, of Jeremiah Love. He only had 4 carries in that first half, which I thought was a little weird with the quarterback starting his first ever game. You feel like you'd want to feed the veteran running back that's going to be probably a top 3 back in America. But he got 6 more carries in that second half and had a few receptions to go along with that. So I think that's something that was a game plan schematic thing that they saw. But I don't think we'd see that going forward, putting that much pressure on Carr after this result that he didn't even play that bad in, but it definitely could have helped if we got Jeremiah Love more involved, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, Arch. I wonder if they're trying to just control his reps early in the season to avoid wear and tear come those meaningful October and November games. But another thing about this game that I thought this was one of the, if not the highest level of play from both team, like both sides this weekend. I'm really impressed by both teams, really impressed by Beck, his poise throughout the entire game, his throw to that's Kadarius Tony's brother, right?
yeah, Malachi.
Malachi. That throw was awesome off his back foot. But really impressed by Miami. Really impressed by the way their defense came to play, especially there at the end after they kind of broke a little bit those last 2 drives after the busted coverage, but really stood tall at the end and got the win. So, I mean, this is big for Miami. They're going to hit the ground running. I think similar to Texas, Notre Dame's schedule is advantageous enough for them to be fine down the stretch. And I think that Marcus Freeman will have them in a good spot. And I still think 10-2 is very much on the table for Notre Dame.
I think another thing, like when you talk about good football teams and how they do this, and the Patriots kind of made a living off of this, is, um, Notre Dame answers in the second quarter to make it 7-7. Really good CJ Carr drive, and then at the end of the second quarter, CJ Daniels makes that catch, um, and they go up 14-7. They don't Notre Dame needs the ball out pretty much, and then they come back, they get the ball at the beginning of the third quarter and then score another touchdown. So when the game was tied CJ Carr was down 2 touchdowns before he ever got the ball back after tying the game. That was just a huge turning point, and that's what really good teams do. And I do think what Dusk is saying about how they controlled the line of scrimmage, and then what Sam's saying about how Miami has never looked that good. That's something that I've never seen Miami really do. So this has been cool. We have never seen Miami be that good as college football fans. Like I wasn't really of age in 2006 to be a huge Miami ball knower, but um, I would love to see the U be good because all of our parents and people before us talk about how cool that school was as a college football powerhouse. So that's a step in the right direction against a really good Notre Dame team. Like I think Notre Dame looked great with a new quarterback. We had to lost a lot of production on defense, and I thought they looked pretty damn good. So with that, does anybody have anything else?
Well, we're gonna jump into LSU Clemson, I assume, but I think the most exciting thing about this weekend, we'll talk about Florida State too, but the ACC doesn't look as chalky as it seemed to be in the preseason. So it's exciting that I mean, obviously everyone was pretty high on Miami, but with Clemson struggling a bit, I think the ACC's a little more open than expected heading into week one, and I think that's pretty exciting.
So
Yeah, I agree with you. I was thinking the same thing. Like even though their number one team lost and UNC had a pretty sad showing last night. I mean, what a weekend for the ACC with Miami and Florida State really flexing their muscle a little bit. So like really, really positive stuff out of the ACC, even though their top team lost. So I mean, you could argue about this. This could have been the ACC could have had the most successful weekend of any conference, just based on their depth showing.
yep, barring the game we're getting into next, which is LSU Clemson. Clemson, I was really high on Clemson. I know Duska was really high on Clemson. The pod was blowing smoke up Clemson's ass for 2 weeks straight, saying, this team is ready to take the next step. And we didn't see that next step being taken. Pate talked about it on his show. Like they just cannot elevate in these situations. I just wanted to look at the quarterback play. Garrett Nussmeier was 28 of 38. Klubnik was 19 of 38. That's a lot more completions on Nussmeier's side. Nuss also had a touchdown, 0 picks. Cade Klubnik had a pick, no touchdowns. They really struggled to run the football. LSU's defense looked awesome. I thought Mansour Delane, the VT transfer, number 4 cornerback, was such a huge. He had a pick, but he was so good all day in man coverage. I talked about how I thought Clemson had the best receiver room in the country with Wesco, Williams, and Moore. And Williams did go down early in the game. I do think that really hurt Clemson, but like Moore and Wesco had opportunities to break open the game, and they got opportunities to go one-on-one on LSU's DBs, and that unit really held up. I was super impressed with them. I thought the second half LSU played was absolutely tremendous. Aaron Anderson, number 1, their receiver was a problem all night in the slot. Clemson really had no answer for him on third down when they would go man coverage, one high safety looks. But I do think Clemson's defense was awesome. I thought they tackled really well. They played physical. They looked apart. I thought both teams looked like, you know, top 10 college football teams that with great recruiting profiles and great athleticism. And I just thought again, we always talk like Clemson's offense could not scale up against this team, against a team like this. I want to just take a second to kind of show you guys like how the progression that Clemson really just hasn't been elite in a while. Here's the games against really good opponents they've had in the last couple of years. So 2021, week 1 in Georgia, they lose 10-3 with DJU starting. The 2022 Orange Bowl, they lose to Tennessee. Cade Klubnik starts. Week 4, Florida State 2023, Klubnik starts. They lose that game. I remember they missed a bad field goal, but they did lose. 2024, week 1 against Georgia last year, got absolutely boat raced in the Chick-fil-A kickoff. Um, Week 13 against South Carolina, you're at home. Harry and the fellows are boots on the ground, and Lenore Sellers running back you at the end of the game. Can't come out with that win. The playoff, obviously, Texas, they looked just overmatched. They kind of made it close at the end of the game by scoring a few like late touchdowns, but they were overmatched. And then again, week 1, LSU, Klubnik the starter. And the question I kind of have is, Dabo, they've been playing good defense for a while now. Although it has waned off, the defense looked really good. But my question is, was the secret sauce just elite level Heisman Trophy winning quarterback play, or is this sustainable with just good quarterback play? And can they elevate with just good quarterback play? So they haven't had Trevor Lawrence or Deshaun Watson in a while, and it's really shown in their record.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch a whole lot of this game, so I'll let you guys, Arch and Duska, take a little bit more. But I literally, Charlie, you kind of stole. I have right at the top of my note with just how they've performed in these high level games, just not being able to. I mean, I'm looking at their biggest win was against Notre Dame in 2023 November. They beat Notre Dame and they're number 12. Outside of that, they really haven't had like a high level win since 2021. So, um, could be a little bit alarming there in Clemson. Cade, I, I've always been confused on where the Heisman um, hopefulness with Cade has been, just because I just don't see the film of him being better than some of these guys. But and then just a quick shout out to LSU's defense for stepping up and silencing the haters and shutting Clemson down in that hostile environment. So LSU hits the ground running. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with down the road.
Yeah, I mean, just a few things. I think I've always been a closeted Clemson supporter. I just am a big fan of Dabo, and this program just overall always kind of wanting them to succeed. I think might be a little too desperate for them to be good. Obviously they looked really good on paper preseason, but they have to play the games at some point, and it just left me with a few questions. Number one, I think a big part about Klubnik being a little underwhelming in this game is this offense ran the ball a lot worse than I expected them to be able to. They had a lot of returning experience on the offensive line, and I kind of expected that to translate to the run game and to see them be able to kind of dominate the ground a little bit more. And it really made that Clemson offense pretty one dimensional. Like you said, Cade attempted 38 passes. That's way too much uh, for them to be successful in a game like this. LSU defense was pretty awesome. They answered a lot of the questions that we had about them going into the game. I talked about their younger tackles starting their first and third games on the road at Clemson, Tyree Adams and Weston Davis. I thought they looked really good, especially against a good edge like TJ Parker. I think they gave Nussmeier time. I think they ran the ball effectively, and that LSU offense was a little more dynamic than Clemson was. I picked Clemson to be my national champ. In retrospect, I guess there might have been a few glaring symptoms of why this team might not be ready to step into that upper echelon, upper status. I think that the defense is solid, but they need to be way better on the ground. LSU is definitely a good team, and they answered some of the questions we had about them. But this overall is generally a big loss for Clemson, and there's precedent to it too. And we talked about all the games that they've lost over the last few years, and I just don't know if they're like Pate was saying, like we've been saying, if they're able to scale up in these big games and be able to hang with these guys uh, in the SEC and other teams at the line of scrimmage. So overall, tough night for Clemson. Hopefully they can clean it up on the ground a little more and give Cade a better chance.
Yeah, just to go along with some of the things y'all have already been saying, I think that we were talking about like their past performance and like precedent versus big games. I think the only game that we've seen over the past 3 or 4 years that we've seen them play, where there's been like it was kind of they like belonged there for all 4 quarters. And I think I would say that would be the Texas game last year in that playoff game. For 3.5 quarters, they looked like they were matching, and that could be whether they scale to Texas level, or did Texas that last year had a problem with scaling up for the bigger games they had, and they always underperformed. So I don't know. I think this game was pretty interesting. Like Duska mentioned about Clemson's like inability to run the ball. I thought that was always. I'd had like a little skepticism about Clemson. That's because like you didn't see it as much last year. Like you could have all the returning production that you want, but if your returning production couldn't mimic or couldn't scale like last year, what makes you think them having another year would do that? And I think it would be interesting to see like what they did. I mean, 20 carries for 31 yards as a team is never going to get it done, especially against a team like LSU. I mean, that's like the padlock stat, but obviously it's like you don't. That's why it's a padlock stat. You don't have that before the game.
Arch,
I
I got.
think
Oh, finish your
yeah.
thought, but I have a quick question after that.
So I think I'm interested to see what we kind of see from Clemson moving forward. I think the recipe of Klubnik throwing the ball 38 times, as someone mentioned, is never going to be the answer in these big games. You're going to have a more balanced attack. And, yeah, I'm still I think I would still pick them right now. Like we talking about ACC. I picked them preseason. I had Miami and them in the title. I think I would still lean their way because I think there's some minor things they can clean up. And also, I think LSU is a ultra talented team this year that a lot of people didn't notice because one, they hate Brian Kelly, which is like kind of fair, and
Fair.
two, you're taking a lot of the guys from a bunch of different schools and trying to mesh them together in the transfer portal, which we saw hit or miss with Florida State in 23 and then Florida State in 24, which is like two ends of the spectrum.
Now,
So I don't know.
Florida
I
State
think it's
25.
yeah, true. I think we'll see very good game. I don't think it's like a total like Clemson disaster. Also think they should have played better. And if you're going to be a national title contender like they should be this year, you should probably win this game, especially at home in week one. But I don't think it's like end of the world for either team. And I don't think just because LSU won this, it's like, hold on, everybody. They're going to win the national title now. I think there's a common ground that a lot of fans, if they're reasonable, will be able to find with that.
It's just week one at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
And there's going to be a lot more sample size to go off of. But Arch, I wanted to like just get your opinion on one thing, and that is Clemson's refusal to use the portal and how at the running back position, how badly and one infusion of like a CJ Donaldson or a Kanye Udo, who they could have easily gotten in the portal. They're starting Adam Randall, a converted receiver. He had 16 carries for a 3.2 average. And they also, Tyler Brown, who is a wide receiver, was their second leading. So they basically have two receivers as their two leading rushers in the game. They have David Ezumume, 24. Maybe they find something with him later down the line, but I just felt like, man, like that's one spot where you're like, oh my gosh, one good portal addition, and we just transform this room.
Yeah, I think that's. I definitely think it's a glaring weakness. I mean, 2 or 3 years ago, you had Maffa and Shipley, 4 or 5 stars in the 21 class with us. You had him kind of a two-headed monster for 3 years. Shipley left. Then it was the Maffa show last year. Maffa rushed for over 1,000 yards. Like, I don't think you got a guy in this room. I know preseason they were counting on this guy named Gideon Davidson. He's a freshman. They were counting on him to start, but I don't know if he got hurt or he just didn't win the job. But he didn't have a single carry, and I never saw him out there. So I don't know if that was something as a hurt or he just wasn't that good. Yeah, converted receiver with the most carries. Well, 5 carries, not counting Klubnik, the most on your team with 16 yards. Not going to get it done. But luckily, you got ACC playing. You're not going to play as many good D linemen and linebackers as you will for LSU. So I think they'll have one of these guys will probably go like off like 200 or something next week, and then we'll all just like shut our mouth. But
That'd be great.
They do go to Georgia
I'd love
Tech
that. I would
in
love
2
that.
weeks.
One more thing about the portal too. I mean, we all love college football, and I think we're all a little idealistic. And I don't know about you. I don't want to speak for you guys, but I think it's pretty cool that Clemson refuses to use the portal. Like I said, we're idealistic, and we want to believe that it's possible to recruit and build a team that's good enough to win a national championship through just the guys you bring in and develop. But I think while completely turning to the portal year to year isn't the method, we've seen that be hit or miss for teams like Florida State. Being able to sprinkle in a few additional guys, like if you can just bring in a super dynamic running back to play one season for you when you have a team that profiles as a national championship contender, that goes a really long way. And there's a few other spots on this Clemson team that just a few transfers fused into all this talent they've brought up and developed would go a really long way. And it's unfortunate in a way, and but it's also I mean that's just the way Clemson is at this point, and I don't know if there's a lot that's ever going to change that. But I think that's a really important part when talking about kind of how this Clemson team has declined over the past 5 years.
Like I think Duska, to go off your point, like say a guy like Kirby Smart who has like he's voiced his disdain for the portal, but you know like Zachariah Branch might be a huge piece that they get from USC that like ends up winning them a national championship or winning them the SEC. Although like yeah, you don't want to build your entire roster. It is nice to have a couple playmakers that you can just give the ball to every once in a while, and just make plays because in these games, 3 plays make the difference. So like 2 explosive runs from Clemson maybe flip this game on their head, and we didn't get that. And with that, the word explosive, I'm gonna go into the most explosive game of this week, Bama FSU, the Sarah McLachlan special.
In the
I
arms of
the
me.
angel. First time
Oh.
I was talking about how Miami was the first time I had ever seen them play like that and be like, oh wow, this team is like they looked apart. That was the first time in my entire life watching an Alabama game. I'm so conditioned to just be like, these guys are going to work the other team, or at least if they're gonna lose, you're gonna have to make so many plays and you're gonna have to play so physical. Like you're gonna have to Michigan them in the Rose Bowl. Like just absolute slugfest, toe to toe. That's how I'm used to like if Alabama loses, that's the way it's going to be. I have never seen them get put in the ring and just get out punched for 4 quarters, especially on the lines of scrimmage. Shout out to Mike Norvell. That was a program changing win. Like that is a seismic win for Florida State. They looked really good. There's something about Gus Malzahn who is just kind of a Bama killer at this point. Um, and his collegey offense with a guy like Castellanos that they're not asking him to throw 38 times a game. Like throw 22 times, run 11 times, be efficient, get first downs, don't turn the ball over. They ran the ball for 226 yards, I believe. They just absolutely toted the pill. Um, it was insane. I have just never I was completely speechless watching the game. And then Florida State is up 24-17. Ty Simpson leads a pretty good drive. It's a touchdown game. You're like, okay, this is where Bama like turns it around. Like here's the second win. And dude, and then Florida State just ran the ball down their throat just for another full drive, milked the clock, another touchdown. Like it was just the most insane watch I've ever seen from Alabama. I feel so I I don't know. We've been spoiled by Nick Saban, and I can't believe what I just watched.
Yeah, I didn't get the chance to watch the this full game because UGA Marshall was going on at the same time as this, and I have my loyalties there. But um, I saw some of the big plays throughout. Then I also saw like clips after. Kind of unheard of to see what was going on with Bama that game. A lot of plays of just guys. I mean, we're not even going to get too technical, but like just flat out loafing, just like minimal effort plays, which you never really saw. Like as a kid growing up, I was terrified to play Bama for UGA. I like shed tears when we'd play them. Many times we'd have these awful losses to them, and like you didn't see that. I didn't think Ty Simpson played a bad game. I think I saw people blaming him. I also don't think he played great. I think it was a whole team letdown performance. Was a few plays kind of head scratchers for them, Ty Simpson included, especially that fourth down when I thought he could have scrambled and probably got it, and he threw the like the 80% chance you're going to catch the ball. So I think Bama could be fine. Weird game where it's not like a fluke. It just like there was like some clear issues with that team that if they want to be competitive and make their aspirations that they've had, which is probably a national championship, they need to right those. But just a very shocking result. I thought Florida State could keep it close. I thought like with Gus Malzahn, fun offense, he could probably keep it within a touchdown or two, but never in my wildest dreams did I see them just dominating them and just like just like a boa constrictor, just squeezing Bama in that fourth quarter and just a pure domination at that point. So wild to see. Pretty entertaining though. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I hate to say we said it, but it was said on the podcast. I will say I did get to watch a lot of the beginning of this game, and like kind of like what Charlie was saying, I've never seen Bama get like just outside of just getting shoved around, just completely out athleted, especially on the perimeter. It just looked like Florida State was just moving the ball at will the entire time. And I know everyone's kind of shitting on Bama for this game, and rightfully so, but I want to give a little bit of credit to Florida State and the game plan that they had and the way that they played. The way that Castellanos was able to execute all of his shit talk and go out there and kind of play just a freelance. I don't give a shit what happens. I'm going to run all over the place. So I think a really big credit to them. Really impressed with what Malzahn was able to do schematically. There's some funny plays if you go back and watch some of the film. I don't know if you guys have seen the like when the offensive line doesn't move and they run the screen. There's a couple other plays, but and then I have a little like funny nugget from this game. I don't know if you guys remember the Florida State Georgia Tech game last year,
Oh yeah,
where Florida State just walked right down the field
the Aer
and looked,
Lingus.
yes,
Aer
looked
Lingus
amazing.
classic.
Just walked in. It was an amazing drive, and it kind of reminded me of that first drive from Bama there in that game. And I just wonder if there's a little bit of a curse in something like that. They walk down the field and then end up losing a crazy upset game that no one predicted. And then next, we talked about this on probably our first show with just other teams, but I think another thing you have to wonder now is the quit factor with Bama. And you look here in week 4, they play at Georgia in a game where Georgia could potentially be double-digit favorites, which I actually would assume they'd probably be in the 10-point favorite range, like that Tennessee game last year. And if they lose that game, they're going to be 2-2. And when was the last time Bama was 500? So I'm really worried about Alabama and especially the way that their schedule works out in the middle of the year when they have to play Tennessee and then South Carolina really close to each other. So I think that the game against Georgia is almost turned into a must win for Alabama. And you hate to say that in a week 4 game, but I think it is. I don't know what you think about that, Arch, um,
Yeah,
regarding the Georgia game.
I'd say for Bama, it's definitely going to be a must win. Or like if you don't win, you better lose in overtime or by one score. When you look at the rest of their schedule, I don't have it pulled up, but I believe they play Oklahoma, they play South Carolina, and they play LSU. Those are 3, and you also play Auburn at the end of the season. And Lord knows what happens in that game, like we've seen in the past. If you don't get off the bus for Georgia and like give your best effort in Athens, and you're 2-2, you're staring down the barrel of an 8-4 season or worse. If things really go south, which I don't think they will. I think they'll ride it, but I think it's going to be interesting to see for sure.
I just had a couple things too. We talked about kind of just how Bama got physically dominated, which is definitely unprecedented in our lifetimes. I think it's pretty funny as well that Josh Pate made such a big deal about being at the Alabama scrimmage. And when you watch these players in this when you watch these players in this scrimmage, I mean you're like, I mean, these guys, like, they have to play a full season after this. Like, they should, I don't know if they should be playing this hard. I just think it's kind of funny looking back on those comments and then kind of seeing how they showed up in Tallahassee. Another thing about this Alabama team, this offensive line was not as good as I expected it to be. There was a lot of pressure from the right side with Wilkin Formby. He's a bit of an inexperienced tackle for them, but also from Caden Proctor, who's, I mean, right now he's at the top of my 2026 OT1 rankings. But he didn't look great in this game. Um, in certain situations, obviously he has some good reps here and there. And then shout out to Florida State. Left tackle Gunnar Hansen. He's a Vanderbilt transfer. I thought he looked really awesome in this game. Jalen Lucas from Florida State was pretty electric. He had a couple big explosive plays. And I think just overall, the fact that Florida State ran for 230 yards and Alabama only ran for 87 is pretty wild. And I don't know, should we have the Kalen DeBoer conversation? Obviously, it's pretty hyperbolic talking about this type of thing after week one, but there's been a lot made about Alabama players having friends over and accepting DoorDash orders at 1 and 2 a.m. in the team hotel.
Let me see who you're studying with.
Oh yeah, Todd. What was that? Taj Boyd.
The Taj Boyd.
Oh yeah, just my study
That's
partners.
a great clip. Yeah, I think conversations will be had about that if they get worse. But I mean, he's got a comfortable like $90 million buyout right now, and I don't think some Bama alum, I don't think they can afford that. So
Yeah.
What do
so
you
we'll
guys
see.
think about this has become a conversation too, the Pacific Northwest style of coach and just person not having do you guys think that translates to football team, football culture, and DeBoer not being built for SEC play and not be able to kind of corral an SEC program? Do you guys make anything of that?
A
No.
kid at work that sits by me is a Bama alum and big Bama fan, and he was riding these Pacific Northwesterners can't relate to the Southern guys. They don't know the Southern style. He's a Michael Penix merchant. So, I mean, I think that's just part of the Alabama propaganda that's being thrown around right now. But like, he is 5-5 in his last 10 games. So like, there is warrant to these allegations. So like, I really think that they got to figure it out and they got to figure it out fast because they play Wisconsin in 2 weeks too. And what could be a tense Alabama crowd, which is what I saw firsthand when South Carolina played them in Tuscaloosa. So I mean that they should roll Wisconsin, but that'll just be an interesting game if they don't roll them and they have a similar USF game from a couple years ago. Then I wonder what will be going on in Tuscaloosa.
They're going to be on eggshells,
I am.
that fan base.
I'm still old enough to remember Kalen DeBoer taking the Huskies to the national championship, and that still has like a huge impression on me. So I'm gonna give him time.
Agreed.
I'm
Yeah.
choosing to give him time. I think again in college football, a lot of the time, especially with the stuff that Kalen DeBoer runs, like the air raid system where they got a lot of air raid principles. Like, dude, you need the quarterback play to be good. And I'm not saying Ty Simpson was bad. That was his first ever start. We just need, it could get a lot better.
Protection has to be good
It could
in
get,
those systems as well.
yes, it could get a
And
lot
it
better.
wasn't great.
So, yeah, I mean, remember, the Washington offensive line was disgusting. This
They won the
absolutely
Joe
disgusting.
Moore.
So, those two things have to be quarterback play and offensive line play. I guess that's kind of what we're going to be watching. Also, effort from the defense as well. But I guess we're going to move into this is going to be my favorite part of the show just because I'm going to say absolutely nothing. And I'm going to let the guys that are on the left of my screen, it's Sam and Arch, take their victory lap. We're talking about the Boise State USF game. I'm going to shut up.
You can take it, Sam.
Well, if if you listeners of the pod just took like half of what was said, just where we leaned in some of these random games
Fuck the
last weekend,
model. You don't need the model.
you
You
would
need
be
the
very
forward
wealthy.
pass.
Um, with just the way that we thought some of these games were going to go, we kind of banged the Texas game, we banged the State game, we banged the USF game, the South Carolina game. We predicted to go the same way it did. You guys were on Miami, so our listeners, if you're listening live, please listen to us. You will be happy. But USF, that was what we expected. The shout out to Arch calling out the uniform matchup early on. I'm a big nerd for dumb nuggets like uniform matchups and announcers for each game. So that was cool. But yeah, I mean, Florida State or South Florida just dominating Boise State. Absolute nails on the fake punt call. Arch called me. I was in an Uber and he's like, "Did you see that?" I was like, "No, what happened?" I walked out as they were punting. So missed that, but I mean, shout out to USF. They have a running back, a quarterback as well. Um,
The year of the running
Arch and
back.
I were saying it's a struggle to watch him complete the like 10-yard slant route because it's that quirky arm motion. But yeah, big win for the pod calling that early on. I saw a little reverse line movement in the afternoon. I told a lot of people at work, and I think Arch and I were texting about that. So yeah, Arch, if you want to add another.
Yeah.
I know you have a smash spot that you would like to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, that game was awesome. USF kind of they were building towards this year three under goalish. It was awesome to see it finally. Like, this is a football fan, finally see it coming together against probably the best G5 team program in the last 10 or 20 years, you'd say, for Boise State, the most consistent. Awesome to see that. Byron Brown had some insane plays in this game, some really nice touch on his deep balls, struggled with the slants and some drag routes, which was tough to watch at times. Yeah, but the hardest ones are the most open ones. But awesome game, goalish. I mean, just he's a warrior. Fake punt call was awesome. I think I had USF to be my G5 team in the playoff. Kind of wishful thinking, kind of they'll put it all together. They did for one game. Let's see them do it for 11 more. But awesome.
Come to the Bay,
awesome
baby.
For us, and awesome for the pod. And that was just a fantastic game to kick off week one for the Thursday 5:30 special right after you get off work. It was just awesome. So super excited to watch that, and also excited to watch South Florida again this week. So, well, because I mean they got the 3-headed gauntlet to start the season. So, but it was just an awesome game. So that's all I got to say.
I think it's funny that Maddox Madsen attempted 46 passes in this game.
That's just another thing. Sorry, I forgot about that. He looked. I said it on the pod. It's different when you got 10-man boxes when you're going against G&T. Watch when they don't respect your running backs as much, because their running backs had a fumbling problem. They had 2 fumbles in that game, inexcusable. G&T would have never. You don't give him a 10-man box. You watch him throw the stupidest passes you ever seen. That's what you get when you listen to our podcast.
There was just a lot of times where they were in 2nd and long and 3rd and long where he was probably just like, "What? Where's Genty at?" Like,
He never had that last year.
Dude, they didn't have to practice 3rd and 8s ever.
No, absolutely
They
not.
did their 3rd down period was like, yeah, we'll go 3rd and 3, and then all right.
There's some interesting playoff implications from this game too. I think just because USF has the 3-headed gauntlet, they could lose. I mean, there's a good chance they lose both of those games. And then Boise plays Notre Dame this year. So both of those teams potentially have 2 losses and would be considered the favorites in their conferences. So I think the door's open now for maybe a 1-loss team that could win one of these conferences to sneak into the playoff, which is
UNLV.
which is interesting. Could be UNLV.
Could be. Gonna
Maybe
be
Navy.
Could be. It could be UNLV, but it's gonna be Navy.
Could be Temple.
Who?
Hey, so next we're going on to. I don't think we have to do a large segment on this. We saw the Nebraska-Cincy game. I don't know if you think I don't know if people think Cincy is going to be really good, but there was a Nebraska receiver that said the offense was going to make paraplegics stand. And then there was a couple of good tweets that were like, yeah, to turn the TV off, because that was insane. I mean, dude, like nothing was good. The only entertaining part of that game was like the Kelsey Swift stuff. And I'm not even like a huge that was the most entertaining part. We saw 0 good offense. We saw just PU is the right thing, right word.
That game should have went to overtime. Brendan Sorsby, no idea what you're doing with 30 seconds left. Had less than 50 yards passing that entire game. You try and throw the jump ball.
He might have been the running back of the week.
It was horrible.
We make that a segment.
Yeah.
Starting next week, we'll do that.
Running back of the week.
That was awful.
Yeah.
Nebraska, putrid, the most inefficient offense you ever seen. Rail with like 38 completions for like 200 yards. I mean, buddy, just hand the ball off. Like, you don't have to pull it every play with your Mahomes finger waggle.
How about Mahomes leaving the game early too?
Yeah, you don't want to watch him anymore.
He's got like kids to deal with. He couldn't sit there and watch just that. And Travis Kelce's probably talking shit the whole time. Like, yeah, there's just no need.
That was a good hate. That was a fun hate watch.
Yeah, that was an awesome game.
I'm gonna zag a little bit. I don't think he was that bad. Like, they were 10 for 18 on 3rd down. Like, he didn't turn the ball over.
That is a fair narrative, dude.
Obviously,
Raiola was Sorsby was the running back of the game. Yeah,
they weren't finishing drives a lot, but like the offense looked okay. Like, they ran the ball pretty effectively.
It's also Cincinnati, though, man.
That's true.
You just expected a scaling performance. I think you'd expected the year 3 rule jump that Pate's been
Yeah, that's true.
flag pulling around all year. So
Again, but to be fair, like it is funny to make fun of the paraplegic stuff and how the offense did not scale up because that's an insane quote. Just why would you ever say that?
just to
But
do awful,
yeah,
just to be bad.
yeah, just to be asked. But it is week 1. Like Nebraska could show us something, I guess.
I just want to
But
play a little devil's advocate.
yes,
I
I
love
agree.
Matt Rule.
I agree, Dustin. Matt Rule, great coach. Let's receivers though. First off, why are the receivers talking to the media anyway? There's just no
Yeah.
need. Like keep that to the
Also,
quarterback
their
and the
defense
coach.
might be bad.
You know,
Nebraska's?
Yeah.
well, I mean, yeah,
Yes.
they had to play
Yes.
against a two-headed running backfield. So whenever you play a one running back and a quarterback, we'll have to see what happens. I don't know when their first game against that will be, but
I think they play USC pretty soon.
ooh, there it is, and that will be lit. We'll see what
They play Michigan soon too.
there's a
But hey,
quarterback.
but 10-2.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see about Nebraska.
11-1.
In my notes, I just put for the Auburn Baylor game, Jackson RB Nold instead of Jackson RB Nold because running back Arnold came to play. I was not familiar with his athleticism, and I thought he was pretty good. I thought Auburn looked damn good. I thought their line of scrimmage, their offensive line was as touted. They made enough plays. Baylor's going to be a good Big 12 team. I think they're in the top 4 odds. So you don't know how this actually plays out. Baylor could not be good, and this could be just a fraud win. But Auburn, good first step. That's all that needs to be said.
Yeah, I don't know how
Yeah, shout out
sustainable
their
that
line of
result.
scrimmage.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Arch.
I don't know how sustainable that is to do that all year when you got Arnold throwing for like 100 yards, but just having like 30 carries. But when you can out-athlete them like you did against Baylor, when the blue chip ratios, those don't lie. They were just clearly more talented on the line of scrimmage. I think I would have liked to see Arnold at least against an inferior team throw a little more, but I mean, also they were blanketing their top 2 receivers. So you give him rushing lanes, he's going to take them. Very entertaining game. Sawyer Robertson was awesome. I liked what I saw from him from Baylor.
Yeah, I thought Auburn's line of scrimmage was awesome. Just leaned on Baylor the entire time. I'm sure that was the game plan going in. It's going to be interesting to see how they can establish the passing game in these next 2 weeks against Ball State and Alabama. It's going to really set up an intriguing matchup against Oklahoma in week 4. I don't know if that's week 4 or week 5.
For running back off there.
That'll be a fun running back off. It'll be his return to Oklahoma. So that'll be a cool little matchup, especially if Oklahoma can pull it off this weekend. But yeah, I mean, Baylor was impressive too. They got a big one this week against SMU to get back on track. But yeah, really impressed with Auburn. And now let's see if they can get those receivers going and if they can get cooking because they play, I'm just looking right now, they play Oklahoma, A&M, and Georgia 3 weeks in a row. And then after that, it's just very manageable with Mizzou, Arkansas, Kentucky, Vandy, and Mercer, and then Bama at the end. And who knows what Bama is going to look like in that week. So our Auburn, if they can squeak out one to 2 of these next 4 games against Oklahoma, A&M, Georgia, Mizzou, I mean, they could be a threat. But like Arch said, Pate's the same thing. I don't know if you can sustain your quarterback just running recklessly into guys for 4 quarters for a 12-game season. So we're going to see what happens with that.
Sam, that was such a perfect lean in because speaking of quarterbacks running recklessly into the other team, Georgia Tech, Colorado, we get the Haynes King game. Classic Haynes King fashion, 13 for 20, 143 yards passing and a pick, but he had more rushing attempts, 19, no more rushing attempts than completions. He had 156 rushing yards with an 8.2 average and 3 rushing touchdowns. Running back of the week. I'm crowning it
The
myself.
true running back of the week.
True running back of the week, Haynes King. Give it up for Haynes King, running back of the week, everybody. Very nice performance. Throwing the football again. It's not something he loves doing. He can, but he can run. He's like the best high school quarterback you've ever seen. Like electric, completely electric. Caden Salt. We talked about Colorado being decent, better than expected. I thought this was a good college football game. That's what I got to say about it. Good college football game. Georgia Tech answered the bell. If we think Georgia Tech's going to be good this year, they needed to win this game. Colorado could be frisky.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, I
Colorado's
think Haynes
definitely going
King
to
would
be
have a
better.
statue at Navy.
Oh, dude,
He would
imagine.
be the Navy
I
guy.
like to see what he
Oh,
do in the Drew Cronic offense.
oh dude,
They might win a natty.
he would be Blake Horvath, but like just 3 times better. Like, oh wow. They wouldn't even make him serve. They would just be like, nah, you're good. You
Trump would
serve.
sign the
You
executive order and
yeah,
they'd send him to like a
you
gunner on the Ravens.
you serve. You've served your time, brother. Like you won us a natty. We're back. We haven't won since Roger Staubach and Haynes King just brought us back. Oh, he missed out on that opportunity.
I
Wow.
think the thing I love about this Georgia Tech team and Brent Key is they just love gap scheme runs and like they're just gonna it doesn't matter who they're playing. They did it to Georgia last year. Like they're just gonna try and run it down your throat, no matter who the opponent is. And that offense is so fun to watch. They also overcame 3 turnovers in this game, 2 early fumbles. Colorado only scored once off of those turnovers, so that's a huge testament to their defense and their ability to overcome some adversity there. I just want to shout out Keelan Rutledge too on their offensive line. He's an All-American. He's awesome. He's the engine of that offensive line and opens up a lot of things for Haynes. And Georgia Tech had 320 rushing yards. That's just you look at that stat line and you're just that just makes you feel good. And then Colorado's end. One thing I wanted to mention, I think Jordan Seaton looked really good, and I'm excited about him. And he's an early candidate for OT1 in 2027.
Also impressive how Georgia Tech was able to overcome 2 early turnovers. Um, they did not play their best in the first half and overcame that. So like a very, very impressive win for Georgia Tech and very impressive from Colorado. Like we kind of talked about earlier, good line of scrimmage play, an absolute frisky team in the Big 12, and that wasn't a Big 12 game. So watch out
Yeah.
for Colorado.
Yeah. And
Also, another thing about Georgia Tech, real quick, moving forward, we talked about that Clemson game that they have week 3. That's going to be a huge matchup. I just hope they don't overlook Clemson in week 3 in preparation for week 4 when Temple rolls into Atlanta to take on the Yellow Jackets. So we'll have to keep an eye out for
That's a nasty spot.
that.
You might just get bit by the owl.
Nasty trap game.
Yeah.
I guess before we hit break, we're gonna just go through some of the super dogs that ended up winning. Arches, Buffalo Bulls,
Yeah. Buffalo against Minnesota.
Minnesota.
That game stayed within the number of 17 the entire time. Buffalo's offense, absolutely putrid. Hated watching it. Defense inspired me. Minnesota's freshman quarterback, though, moved me a little bit. I liked him a lot. So we'll see what he does moving forward.
Yeah, I liked him too. Classic pro style Minnesota. He literally reminds me of Brosmer from UNH. Like he literally reminds me of him, just like young freshman. So I was moved a little bit too, Arch. Can't lie. My super dog hit. Idaho almost won outright. They lost to Wazoo on a last second field goal. But the Vandals came to play. So Duska's super dog on the other hand, not close, 55-7. So
No, not close at all.
but dude,
Just a quick comment on that, because I think I had the right idea, just
yes,
wrong execution.
dude, right idea.
Kansas State had a huge issue with North Dakota. I think that the thought process was correct, but I just picked the wrong side.
Exactly. Literally, it was like Big 12 coming off an Ireland trip. You're playing like
Erlangen's classic.
a gritty Dakota team. You just picked the wrong. Yeah, you just picked the wrong one. That's okay. We
Also,
honestly,
I did have Syracuse, and they were terrible. So we'll just disregard that one. That was the official pick, by the way, just for transparency here.
no.
Okay, Syracuse was the first one, and their game was just bad, just straight bad. Made Aguilar look like Peyton
Foley's
Manning
boy.
from back in '98. So
Shout out McKenna. You think she's
Yeah.
made it this far into the pod?
Yeah,
No
definitely.
shot.
Yeah, shout out. Wait, isn't Steve Angeli the Syracuse quarterback?
He is.
yeah,
that's
very
Foley-
uninspiring effort from
Foley's
him.
boy. Yeah.
Shout out
yeah.
Westfield, New Jersey as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Sam, Miami of Ohio, Wisconsin. Was that you?
That was one of my leans.
Okay, what was your?
Yeah.
Oh,
My
yours
many
was
leans that
Toledo,
hit.
Toledo, Kentucky. That backdoored.
I had Toledo, nice little backdoor. I figured that Kentucky was going to keep a lot of stuff in the bank for their Super Bowl this week, which we'll get into later. But yeah, nice little sneaky backdoor from Toledo. Thank you very much, guys, for that.
All
But
right.
like I mentioned, the Kentucky Super Bowl's this week, so
Who do they play?
Ole
Ole
Miss.
Miss.
Ooh.
Do we want to just give a quick pick 'em update as well?
Oh yeah, after week one, let me go to the well, I know who's in first. With no
I know.
surprise, Arch 4-0 on the week.
You're
That's how you do
4-0?
it. Check the Instagram for the results. But yes, I had
Matt Downing was on to
Ohio
something.
State. Yeah, I had Ohio State. I don't even know the games that we picked. Ohio State,
LSU,
LSU,
Miami, and TCU.
Miami, and TCU to round out the weekend.
Oh, wow.
So went 4-0. Sam went 2-2. Not bad. So Sam
Was Florida State, Bama not on the pick'em?
Nope.
No,
well,
it wasn't.
the
They were too
you-
much of an underdog.
Yeah, we
Sam, it's like
Luke
Sad.
I was 1-3 right now.
yeah, I was
Not
two-
great.
I was
Stevie
2-2.
Wonder on the board.
1-3, and Chuck was 1-3. Yeah.
No, I was
What-
2-2.
Were you? Let me.
I picked Miami and I picked TCU.
That's right. Yeah.
But
Unfortunately,
I
I picked Chapel Bill.
No, and
which
only
was
guy
just-
that took LSU was me. So
Yeah, that
I had a
was short.
sneaky
Good pick,
suspicion that Clemson was going to stink. So
Yeah.
we'll
Well,
see.
good job, Arch. Way to see it. Way to
Yeah.
see it when we couldn't.
We should do we can do a big pick'em this week because it's a frisky
Yeah, there's
week.
a lot of Power 4 games.
It's
Yeah,
the
sure,
frisk week.
just make Arch edit for a few more hours.
Yeah.
You're so good at it. You might as
No.
well.
Oh, yeah, but I do think we should keep like 4 or 5 though, if we
Yeah.
for editing purposes. Oh, we don't want to kill you, Arch.
Make the
For the
You
guys
graphics
that
nice and
lost
You
cool.
almost
already
still
got to
reading.
read like
Yeah.
a tort law essay by
Court law.
Alexander Hamilton every week. So
Yeah.
Mike Ross.
yeah, literally.
That's true.
Yeah. But with that, we'll take a quick break and then we will get back to the pod to talk about the week 2 preview. Thanks for listening. We're gonna roll into the week 2 preview. Thanks for tuning in, guys, on the Forward Pass pod. We're gonna start with probably the premier game of this week. We've got Michigan, we've got Oklahoma. We've got Mateer making his first start for the Oklahoma Sooners, and we've got Bryce Underwood playing on national TV in a live audience. Big time game for the first time. Should be electric. What are we thinking about this game, fellas?
It's always fun when you get two blue bloods together like this. Non-con, it's gonna be good. Fowler, Herb Street, college game day. So a lot of fun there. A little nugget for you guys to start off this preview. Michigan has actually won their last 13 night games going into this one. Just looking at this, it's a really intriguing matchup because there's a lot of question marks on both sides with just the inexperience that these quarterbacks have for their respective teams. With that being said, I expect Michigan to lean heavily on Justice Haynes and Jordan Marshall early on to like make life easy on Bryce Underwood, kind of establish a run game. On top of that, they're going to have to control the ball and just establish long drives to keep Mateer and company off the field because I think the last thing that Michigan is going to want to get into in this game is a shootout to where they're going to have to win like a 35-31 game. I don't see a world that they're able to do that. And I also think Venables is going to scheme up a lot of interesting blitz packages and coverage packages to confuse Underwood early on and make his life difficult along with the crowd. On the Oklahoma side, I think them defensively taking away Michigan's short yardage passing game and really testing these receivers to get downfield and make Bryce Underwood make those long throws to these inexperienced receivers. And yeah, I'm excited to see how Mateer plays because this is really probably the best defense he's ever played, I would assume. Correct me if I'm wrong. They really haven't. They didn't play. Like, I think they played Washington last year was their hardest defense. So it's going to be interesting to see if he is able to throw the ball downfield against this type of defense. And with all that considered, I kind of expect a similar style of game that we saw early on last week and what will be a just defensive struggle, probably a low scoring game. We'll probably be saying running back a lot in the first half. And I think it's just going to come down to whoever makes the bigger mistake on offense, whether it's Underwood throwing a bad pick or Mateer with a dumb fumble or pick. And I just think that a lot more needs to go right for Michigan to be in this game and win this game. I think the line jumped to 6.5. It was 5.5. It's been teetering around there. Um, that being said, I think I'm going to lean Oklahoma, and I think they'll win outright. And I also think they're going to be able to cover in this one.
I'm pretty high on Michigan this year overall. I have them making the college football playoff. I think that this team is personified by its offensive line and its physicality. They have a lot of experienced guys up front, opening up lanes for Justice Haynes to run through. He looked really dynamic against New Mexico, but I mean, that's to be expected. But Giovanni El-Hadi, Evan Link, Greg Crippen, they're all homegrown talent with experience, and they're ready to step up in these big spots. I think that a big story heading into this game is Jayshon Barham getting ejected from that New Mexico game after a targeting call where he absolutely fried the right tackle and then murdered the quarterback. I think Pate talked about that a lot. It's unfortunate that it happened. There's a whole separate conversation to be had about targeting, but I think that a couple potential weaknesses for this Michigan team is the heavy reliance on the run game. In third and manageable, they were able to convert a bunch of times against New Mexico, but this passing game is going to have to be able to carry a bit more of that load, and that's where the test for Underwood's going to come in. They're a little inexperienced at right tackle. Andrew Sprague made his second career start versus New Mexico. He had some strong reps, but obviously Oklahoma is a different caliber of team and rush. And then they're going to have to be able to generate pressure against Mateer. They have TJ Guy, he's an experienced edge rusher, and he got home a few times in that New Mexico game. From an OU perspective, you'd expect Venables' defense to be swarming, but an interesting nugget, they actually got outrushed by Illinois State in that game. They allowed 117 rushing yards on 4.5 yards per carry, which is a pretty interesting statistic that could end up being a factor in this game. But the passing attack looked pretty good. Mateer's super dynamic with his legs. Everyone knows that. Their offensive line is a little inexperienced, a mixed bag. They have some transfers. They have some young guys that don't have a lot of starts. And like I said, they only ran for 103 yards against Illinois State. So that could be a huge factor. And overall, how I see this game playing out, I'm a little higher. Like I said, I'm a little higher than most on Michigan. And I think some of the questions surrounding OU offensively last week could play a factor here. I think this Michigan team will be able to convert and get stops when it counts. And I think, like we've been talking about, it could just end up being a low-scoring slugfest where physicality wins out and someone's able to make a big play when it's most important. And for me, I like this Michigan team, and I think they come out on top in this spot.
Yeah, I'm going to go off Deska to start with Michigan. Justice Haynes looked awesome against New Mexico. Their running back, he's a Bama transfer, underutilized at Bama, also a Buford product. 16 carries, 159 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He was toting the rock. You kind of missed that last year from Michigan's team. You had Donovan Edwards, who was just the worst cover athlete running back I think I've ever seen. Just terrible. They also had the Khalil Mullins. He's gone. I think you also hit on it. They're so limited at receiver. I know Pate's talked about it. Leading receiver is a tight end yet again. It's basically just Colson Loveland 2.0. We cannot have Samaj Morgan being the wide receiver one.
Marlon Klein is the name.
Yeah.
Another white tight end. He's really good, though.
He was good. It's just you cannot have Samaj Morgan be a serious wide receiver one on a team that wants to do anything. It's just I struggled to see – Underwood looked awesome, I think. He had a lot of good touch throws. Stat line doesn't blow you away. I thought he looked good in the clips that I was seeing. When you look at these two teams, I just think Michigan is going to be able to control the trenches and the line of scrimmage on both when they're on offense and also when they're on defense. Oklahoma's offensive line was a very bad weak spot last year. Last year. And
I think that's carried over into this year.
Yeah, so it's just like I just think Michigan's going to be able to control the line of scrimmage in a low-scoring game. If you see Michigan winning this game, I think you see it being like an under, just like a nasty game. And if you thought that it was going to be a high-scoring game, you're definitely thinking Oklahoma's going to win because Michigan's offense I don't think they could even muster up 28 against them. But I think this will be a nasty. I think Michigan's going to win 20-14 in Norman. So I'm leaning Michigan to cover, and I'm leaning them to win outright. So also I think Mateer is going to struggle. That's just I'm an anti-Mateer guy. Yeah.
I think Michigan still profiles as a really talented roster. I do think, okay, at receiver, you mentioned, what's it, Samaj Morgan? Is that how you say it? So, again, he might be the wide receiver one. I'm holding out hope that it's Donovan McCulley. He's an Indiana transfer. He was a quarterback that converted to receiver. He's really twitchy, like good athlete. We'll see what type of production they get from receiver. But even so, like, it is the University of Michigan. At the end of the day, what they want to do is they want to tote the rock. Which they did against who they play? Oh,
New Mexico.
Yeah.
The Lobos.
The Lobos. Devin Dampier's former team, Utah quarterback. So I have Michigan winning this game. I think they get it done in Norman, Oklahoma. I am a Venables guy. I do think he's good. I think Michigan is just I think Michigan's like just a well-rounded program, and if you're gonna win, you better really have your shit together. And I think Oklahoma may get to that point, but I'm gonna need to see it. I need to see Oklahoma win a big game. The last time I watched Oklahoma play a football game, they were demoralized by like not a lot of guys playing, but they lost to the Naval Academy in a bowl game. So that was the last time I watched them at Sensei's Bar and Grill with my friends. So I'm gonna need to see Oklahoma do this. Keontez Lewis, named to watch, receiver. He had 9 catches, 119 yards, and 2 tuds last week. This is his 4th college football team. He played for UCLA. He then played for Wisconsin, and then last year he was actually an FCS baller at Southern Illinois for the Salukis, and then now he is on the Oklahoma Sooners, making an impact. They also have Deion Burks, a Purdue transfer from 2 years back. He's really explosive, really good. He kind of got hurt last year, so he wasn't really able to, show himself. But I do think Oklahoma's a good team. Give me the program that Michigan has built in the run game, and just they're going to be able to play their type of game that Oklahoma probably wants to open it up a little bit more, and I don't know if Michigan's going to let them do that. Does anybody have
one more guy I want to shout out that everyone should keep an eye out for? Max Breederson. He's like an H-back, fullback type of player for them. I'd give him like a Cody Hardy comp. And he's just a bulldog. Like they'll use him a lot in all the run schemes. So just keep an eye out for number 44, Max Breederson. Basically a 6th lineman out there for him, but doesn't move like an O lineman.
Yeah. Athlete. Complete athlete. We're going to go into the next game, which is the Cyhawk Bowl. I am excited, but I would have been more excited if Mark Gronowski threw for over 44 yards last week against the FCS opponent, which he didn't, if you're wondering. I was high. He's won a national championship at South Dakota State. I've seen him sling the rock. It's just like when...
Threw that out route in practice. Never forget.
Yeah, when you walk into the Iowa Cyclones facility, I wonder if they just banned like this motion, like that, where you finish you could underhand it, or you could go like this and hand it off, but they must ban that because I can't believe against the Albany Great Danes they had 44 passing yards. 44! The Albany Great Danes! Matt Downing went ballistic on them last year. Are you serious? 44? So, I don't know. Anytime you just play like a state of New York school and you have 44 passing yards, gosh. I'm going with Iowa State. I think they win comfortably. Give me Rocco Becht and the fellas. They're red hot coming off of 2 wins. Now Iowa, it's actually at Iowa State, I believe. Can somebody fact check for that?
It is.
I think it is in Ames.
It's in Ames, Iowa. Mark Gronowski's coming off of a 44-yard performance. They did run the ball well, but it's Iowa. You expect that. This game will probably end up being closer than I'm probably being too much of a hater of the forward pass that the Iowa Hawkeyes have deployed, but
rightfully so.
But they had 3 running backs, Iowa, that averaged over 4 yards a carry against the Albany Great Danes, which impressive a little bit. But it's the Albany Great Danes.
Rashawn Baker and TJ Thomas also did that.
Yeah, exactly. Come on. Rashawn Baker. Exactly. I don't know if TJ played that game. I think he was hurt.
He did. That was the
did
game
he?
before he got hurt. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nice. So,
Also
yeah,
notable in that game.
Duska was the player of the game. One of them.
One of 6.
Yeah, 1 of 6. And Chandler Brayway, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
2 return. But anyway, again,
Enough about Elon.
44. Can we get more than 44 passing yards against the Great Danes? Like, I'm not asking for that much.
I don't have a ton on this game, but I'm gonna go with Iowa State too. They're rolling, coming off the Aer Lingus Classic, winning that, and then boat racing South Dakota last week. You mentioned the passing attack from Iowa. Hopefully, it's a fun, close game, but I'm gonna go with Iowa State.
I'm going to go against the grain here. This line makes no sense. Iowa State's at home, and they're only favored by 3.5, which means it'd be a pick 'em at a neutral site, which still doesn't make sense considering Iowa abandoned the forward pass. I think they abandoned the forward pass because they're going to come out slinging in the Cyhawk Bowl. Give me the Hawkeyes in the points.
I'm going to go along with Sam here. I feel like every single time this game is played, the team that should win does not. Go back to last year, Iowa State had it in the bag, up by like 10, and then you check again and they lost by 1 because from the last second field goal. This game makes no sense every single time. I think I kind of like the narrative that Sam played. They're not throwing the forward pass last week because you don't need to against Albany. Kansas State had some success running the ball. Avery Johnson has good rushing lanes. I think we see a dynamic attack from Gronowski and the Iowa fellas. Line makes 0 sense. Give me the Hawkeyes in Ames.
Question. Would either of you, if I gave you over 135.5, Mark Gronowski, would you feel comfortable taking the over?
Yes. I think they're going to hit 2 explosives.
Wow. Okay. All right.
2 explosives for over 135?
Well, what if they're like, I think 2 explosives to get
explosives
you.
for 40 and then 50 passing yards.
Yeah.
That's like one screen pass that goes for 50 yards.
Yeah, true.
I also think, why would you put, if you haven't thrown the ball in 4 years, why would you put it on tape against Albany?
No, I disagree.
I still think you need to show.
You gotta get the pass game right in that game.
8 of 15
to carry a little confidence into the
guys. You're not hiding all of your pass schemes. Like you don't just
they are true. They're hiding all.
You can't just abandon all your pass.
They're hiding the slants.
They actually tried to throw the ball. He went 8 for 15. Like it was terrible. It looked awful. Like. They wasn't like they weren't.
But that one sidearm throw in practice. That's worth like 20
yards.
Outright.
Dude,
that's worth like 25 passing yards in the Cyhawk.
The Rock is for South Dakota. Like they won a natty.
Yeah,
and they go in deep playoff runs. Like
when the quarterback comes in there, they take his UCL on day 1. They get in there. They take your UCL,
sacrifice.
And they put a miles per hour tracker so you can just run.
Yeah, they literally,
like circumcision, but for their UCLs.
Yeah. Wow. They're like, we don't need the you're not gonna like that.
Forward pass.
Yeah, forward pass. Have you ever done
Isn't
this?
that a podcast?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
That's all I got for that. I mean, I think it's going to be an awesome game.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
I think the group chat might be popping during this game. Like, just like
I will be there for this nasty sicko fest.
What time's this game at?
Yeah,
I think it's noon.
Dude, I might go to the Texas game on Saturday, so I might miss this.
Oh, you're gonna miss the Cyhawk?
Yeah, the Texas versus San Jose
State
game. Yeah, just for San Jose State and Walker Egger and them with Ken Lamatola and the fellas to get back after the Central Michigan loss.
Hey, Ken Niumatalolo, here we go. We're good. We're good. No, I don't see it happening though. Hey, I did Nick Nash. I hope he makes the Falcons roster. Let me know if he does.
Practice squad.
Oh, okay. All right. Nice.
He just, I don't know. Him and that Kobe Bryant, the Kansas guy, just didn't emerge. Surprising. Two of my favorite college producers.
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant, the one he was talking smack about Lamar Jackson.
Might have been, yeah.
One of them were.
Yeah, I think so.
One of the Falcons.
I don't know, but we also employ Felipe Franks on our roster still
Yeah,
after 4 years,
you
so
do employ him.
I don't really get
Is
too
is,
involved
is
in the
Raheem Morris the
personnel.
next Michael Penix merchant?
No, he's far from a merchant of anything.
Uh,
Jack of no trades.
yeah.
Yeah, literally.
Hey, next
Believable talent,
next game
breath giving.
next game we're doing is the Vanderbilt Virginia Tech game, and I think this game is like they're kind of mirrors of each other. Their recruiting rankings bear it out. Virginia Tech is 45th in 2024. Vanderbilt was 40th. Brent Pry versus Clark Leahy. Is it Leahy?
Lee.
Yeah. Oh, Clark
It's just
Lee.
Clark Lee.
Okay. Well, Clark Lee. I actually liked Clark Lee in the SEC doc. I thought
Yeah,
Vanderbilt
he
was
was cool.
he was kind of a fun watch. Like he kind of made them kind of interesting. So what say you guys about this game? Because it's kind of a Pavia versus Kyron Drones game, which just bears out the running back off. I think this week might be a little Colorado Georgia Tech kind of game where
Yeah.
you just got two running
Sleeper, this
backs.
is probably where their RB of the week is from.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
winner of this game's quarterback jumps
yeah.
not in the favorite.
True, very
I
true.
think this game is going to be a total snooze fest. Neither
Really?
offenses boast much. Um, that being said, we didn't get into this much with the South Carolina VTech game. I was very impressed by some things that Virginia Tech was able to
Oh yeah,
do
we forgot that.
outside of completing passes on Sunday. Um, I was actually very impressed with their defense and some of these transfers. I think they continue to gel, and I think there was a lot of positives for them to take out of that South Carolina game. And I think they get their revenge from last year in a raucous Blacksburg at Lane Stadium. I will take Virginia Tech minus the 1.5 and the win.
I'm going to I'm going to go with Virginia Tech here, mainly because of my disdain for Diego Pavia's schematics and movie stuff this offseason, just awful. I think Virginia Tech, even though they lost, they showed me some things last week that like
Diego,
make
if you're
you
watching this, he's not. He doesn't hate you because he hates you. He hates you because he has to hate you. There's no
That's true.
other. I mean, you made him
That's
do
true.
this. You made him hate you.
That's true. I think Virginia Tech, like Sam said, although they lost, pretty inspiring effort from their defense. Kyron Drones has a long way to go in so little time as a fifth year, but I really like their defense. I think their staff hires were good. Their defense had some good personnel. Honestly, one of my favorite plays of that game was South Carolina or Virginia Tech's like three technique doing like a little I forget what movie did, but he destroyed Lenoris and he fumbled and they ended up recovering it. But like they got some dudes on their team now that like these transfers you didn't know about. You're running out of time with Drones, like I said. I hope they smash them by 100 though. Give me Virginia Tech.
I'm gonna go with Virginia Tech too. I was pretty impressed by their line of scrimmage play in that South Carolina game. Vanderbilt, a little more unproven. I mean, I don't have a lot here, but I'll go with VTech just based off of I was pretty impressed with them in that South Carolina game, other than drones, like you guys are saying.
And the special teams. Let down on the special teams. Got to be
Yeah.
better.
The
Can't.
Beamer Bowl is
That was
always
a
going to
I
be
mean, that was
special
an
teams
electric return
touchdown.
though.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of want to be like the Kirk Herbstreit where like he sees the graphic lining up as just VT 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 and he goes, I'm gonna save us from the like getting clowned on Twitter. So I guess I'll take Vanderbilt. If we actually make this like a pick'em game in like the thing, then I might change my pick
What's the
because
spread on this?
it's 1.5.
1.5.
It's
Virginia
one
Okay.
Tech.
for Virginia Tech, their
So
It's
favorites.
another line that like doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
so I don't got much else out in this game. Next game though, we've got Eli Drinkowitz and the new Missouri offense with Bo Prabula coming off of a stellar performance from the Arkansas
Oh my
School
God.
of the Blind and Deaf. And
Yes.
we're Kansas, Missouri could be another running back off Prabula versus Daniels. Like we just can't get enough running back offs. But they both can sling it, but it just depends on if they choose to use that part of their body. Give me Missouri and the points, though.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. I think Ahmad Hardy has a big day. Breakout against the Kansas rushing defense is probably going to struggle, especially because they're not going to. This first time this year, they're going to see the weapons they have out wide. Because I mean, they played Fresno State and Wagner, I believe, which is two
Ooh.
just riveting offensive teams. So give me the Tigers and the points.
Also, one more thing to add, I think this kind of could be like kind of like the Auburn Baylor game where Missouri just says like we have athletes, we have O linemen, and we're gonna run the
I
rock.
was just about to say that, like the talent profile of a Missouri team, I think they're overmatched compared to this Kansas squad. So I'll take Missouri as well.
Yeah, I was about to say I see a lot of similarities outside of like the receivers with just the way that Jackson Arnold and Prebula play. Um, this is a really big rivalry game, and I don't think we were ever like as familiar with it just because of our age. But back when both schools were a little bit more relevant in the Big 12 back in the day, I mean, if this game was in Kansas, could be a different story. Missouri's minus 6.5. I expect the line to move up throughout the week. I like Missouri. I think that they're much more talented, and just the overall depth of their line of scrimmage will prevail here. And I will probably take the points as well, unless some crazy movement happens. So yeah, I'll stick with Mizzou here, even though I will be rooting for Kansas.
Um, Next game we'll get into is the Mississippi State versus Arizona State game. I know Sam really wanted to get into this. The one thing I'll say about this game is, if you're a college football fan but you like the NFL a lot and you want to watch guys who like could possibly you'd be like, oh really, he's going to be a top 10 draft pick. Sam Levitt might just be that quarterback with Cade Klubnik and Arch Manning. I don't even think Arch will come out this year, if I'm being
No
honest.
way.
And I think Klubnik probably I don't know. We'll see what his stock looks like, but I think Nussmeier and Sam Levitt might be two of the biggest risers because I think Sellers is probably firmly in the top three and pretty much everybody's. But I think like Nussmeier and Sam Levitt are two guys that I could see climbing this year. Sam Levitt, he's kind of like a twitchy. Um, he's like a Michael Penix ish type of guy, but righty, white. He's got a little burrow to him, like where he's like sneaky, athletic, twitchy. And then he also has an elite receiver in Jordan Tyson who went off last week. He had 12 catches for 141 yards and 2 touchdowns. So Kanye Udo, though, who I projected to be their starter, the Army running back, is their three. They actually have two running backs, Kyson Brown and Raleek Brown. So they got two Browns ahead of Udo. So I was kind of excited to watch the Army transfer, but I don't think he'll get many carries. Um, but I guess that's kind of my Arizona State stuff. The Jeff Lebby, like on the dock, he looks like a cool guy. On the pay interviews, looks like a cool guy. I think he's a football guy. We'll see if their talent profile. They've got Blake Shapen off of injury coming back, so we'll see if they got any frisk to him. I know Sam wants to talk about this game though.
Yeah, so I'm going to lead off with just an absolutely stupid comment from Kenny Dillingham earlier. It was either today or yesterday when he said they have to stay an hour away from the stadium because there's casinos everywhere in Starkville. That's the only place they could have stayed, which is just completely false. Um, a lot of Mississippi State fans came out and were like, "There's just not casinos in Starkville." So that was just a dumb comment by Kenny Dillingham. Don't mean to be a hater on him by any means. I'm a big fan of his, but just a dumb way to start off this game. Another interesting nugget for this game, I was reading that they're practicing with cowbells. I think that this could be one of those Super Bowl watch type games for Mississippi State. Probably their biggest, like most reasonable chance at a big home win this year. It will be a blackout in Starkville, both literally and figuratively. Um, so I'm gonna go with Mississippi State here.
What's the
I
figurative
think
part?
that like the drinking
Oh, I do like that.
um night night game in Stark Vegas. Give me
Did you guys
Mississippi.
follow that too, or was that
I
just
thought he
me?
was just referring to being a night game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me too.
same. That's okay. So we were all right. So I wasn't asking this dumbest question. All right.
So they are, but they are it is they are going dark mode according to their Instagram. It is a night game, and that line is also pretty low. I want to say it's in that 6.5.
It's 6.5.
6.5. Yeah. So I'm give me Mississippi State outright here in this one to pull off the upset in a field storming in Starkville and what will be a signature win and probably one of the only big wins of the year for Mississippi State.
Yeah. Last year, this game was super entertaining in Tempe between Arizona State and Mississippi State. Kind of a weird game. I believe the final score was around like 2 scores, but it was pretty competitive the entire time. And then the following week, that's when Mississippi State got dominated by Toledo. I think this year you're going to see this is their Super Bowl for Mississippi State, like Sam was saying. I like Jeff Lebby. I was really liking him with year 2 with Van Buren, but he actually transferred to LSU, who was their quarterback that started last year. But they got Shapen back from injury. I think, like I said, it's going to be their Super Bowl. They're gonna bring all the tricks out in order to knock off the Big 12 champion of last year, the team that made it to the semifinals of the playoff. Give me Mississippi State in a very entertaining game. I think this game has shootout potential.
Yeah, I haven't talked about this anywhere else, or I haven't had the chance to yet. Arizona State has a sleeper prospect that I think could jump into the first round here. His name's Max Ihenachor. He's their right tackle.
Ooh.
So I just want to shout that out, call it right now, because he's not very highly touted as a prospect currently, but I think he will jump into the first round after this football season. I'm high on Arizona State. I have them in my playoff. I'll go with them in this game.
Yeah, all right. I like that, Duska. I'm going to go Arizona State and with the points as well. Next game we're going to talk about is I just added it to the doc, but Duke and Illinois I find a little bit frisky. Duke coming off, a spot where they got put in a spot, 10-10 at half to the Phoenix. But I do think the one guy that looked really good was Darian Menza. He can sling the rock. My goodness. He's got good timing. The ball flies out of his hand. I think Duke's going to have the best quarterback in this game. Arch, as you like to say about Altmaier, he's
fortuitous.
Yes, that's a great way to put it. So I do think they have the better quarterback. The better program, though, probably goes to the Illini. They're 12 in the country. I just find that a little bit high. They did beat South Carolina in a bowl game last year. We'll see. I'm excited to watch this game. The spread is
2.5.
2.5.
Illinois minus 2.5.
And is it at Illinois?
It's at Wallace Wade Stadium.
Ooh, at Duke. Yeah.
But here's where I get a little bit worried.
He did.
Guys.
Player of the game. Shout out.
I was expecting a raucous Duke student body, and the cheapest ticket is $30 right now. Well, $20 actually.
Duke students don't go to football games.
Well, here's the thing about the Duke stadium. Their student section actually isn't terrible. It's on the opposing end, or it's on the opposing sideline. So that whole it's like a quarter of the stadium is pretty full, and the student section is they're up to the top row. The issue is their grandstand side, where the home sideline is there's no juice there. It's probably where all the parents sit, and they don't have a lot of real football fans.
The Dukes, yeah,
in general, yeah. So smaller student body, big stadium. It's hard to fill that place up and make it truly an imposing environment to play in.
Yeah, I was at the Clemson game last year. I think that was the most 2 years ago. That was the most people that have ever went to a Duke football game. So we'll see.
Big college game day.
But also it was half.
Do they?
It was also half.
Yeah, remember they played Notre Dame and Leonard.
I thought you were saying this week.
Oh yeah, I remember that. But the stadium was half orange as well with when the Clemson.
Yeah,
so
I'm
maybe
sure.
I don't know if the Illini are going to travel the Clemson and then, yeah. But either way, it's kind of an interesting game because if ACC gets this, that really improves the depth of the conference because Illinois is supposed to be a top 6 Big Ten team, the 12 in the country. So.
Yeah, I like Illinois here.
Yeah, I don't really have a feel. Duke got pushed to the brink against the Phoenix. Probably going to be in the training room all week getting treatment in the warm tubs. You didn't expect the Phoenix to be as physical as they were. I don't know. Something about me just thinks that Illinois comes there and just walks the dog on them. I don't know. So I'm going to go with Illinois.
Yeah, I mean, I think passing stats are always a little empty against FCS teams. I know I'm speaking about my own team currently, but um, I mean, I just want to see Duke's ability to protect, run the ball effectively, and uh, like how accurate Mensa can be against a Big Ten team as opposed to a CAA team. And then defensively, I feel like I'm pretty familiar with their defense at this point, and I think Illinois could have an advantage up front there as well.
Yeah, one name to watch, Cooper Barkate. He's
Yes,
like me, but like the
yes.
best. Like if you gave me like a serum,
Harvard grad,
like
Duke
Captain
Is
MBA,
that
America,
their
future Wall
Harvard
Street,
receiver?
dude,
Yeah, he's
future Wall
he's
Street
electric.
investment banker.
Literally, he's awesome. I absolutely love watching him. So
They have a pretty solid receiving core.
yeah, like him plus Samir Higgins. Shout out
Yeah.
Pennsylvania high school football PCL guy. So yeah, dude, they are explosive and they're going to need to lean on that explosiveness. But I do agree with I think Duke wins. I think they get the upset. But the next game will
Can I get my pick for this one?
Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't realize. My bad. That's on me.
I I think that it's either one of Illinois or Arizona State is going to kind of come out and prove themselves this week with a big time win over one of these frisky road opponents. That being said, I'm just not sold on Illinois. And this is another one where the line does not make a whole lot of sense. You would think um, Big Ten, top 10 team would be favored by more than 2.5. Um, I like really want to take Duke, and I'm going to, or I'm going to take Duke, the points and outright. I think they're going to pull this off here, and Illinois and people. I think Illinois is like super fraudulent, and it's
Yeah.
going to show.
I also think last week Duke did a poor job of giving the ball to Jeremiah Hazley, their tight end. I expect a much better game plan. I expect to see him in the flat. I expect a couple. I think I see him as a red zone threat as well, and that has nothing to do with like my friendship with him or anything.
And so Wallace Wade Stadium, best grass playing field
Oh, it's like a
maybe
green.
ever created.
Like you could putt
It's literally
golf
playing
balls.
on a cloud. Yeah.
You can't have an injury on it. Like it'd be almost impossible.
Yeah, well,
Actually,
well,
you can, but not like an ankle or something. I actually had yeah, it's all good. But yeah, we'll go South Florida versus Florida. DJ Lagway show. Do we think they cover the 17?
Not a chance.
Ooh,
I think this
Not
will
a
be a
chance.
fourth quarter ball game. Lagway didn't do too much against LIU, known high school team from Long Island. I think it'll be interesting. I don't know. I think this will be Florida's first test after playing, and with the health of Lagway being kind of a concern during fall camp and all that, I think it'll be interesting to see if he takes some hits. What happens? The Florida's backup did look good. I just think South Florida's got that frisky kind of Boise like team to him this year, where they push like a team like the Oregon would be like from Boise would be this year's Florida for South Florida. I think it'll be feisty. I think it'll be a good game in the swamp, and I think that Billy Napier, Sunbelt Billy, better bring it.
Does it change your opinion if the Martinez family's at the game or no?
Well, if Gunner's holding the sticks, then I got no doubt it's South Florida.
Ah,
Nez has definitely made it this deep in the pod. So
yeah,
what's up, Nez?
Shout out Nez.
yeah, shout him out.
He's
Tino.
one of our true fans.
Yeah, he is. He is.
He's always on.
He'll be on at some point.
I'm going to
We'll get
go
him on.
against
It'll be a
Arch here.
special treat for the audience.
Maybe if they lose to South Florida, we'll bring him
Yeah,
on.
yeah. The State of the Union. He'd have to read it. I'd be like, you gotta put it on a piece of paper so you can read it.
Yeah, shout
I'm
out
going to
Tino.
go against
Yes,
our
I love
darling
Tino.
from last week. I think that that was a Super Bowl type of game for them, and I see a bit of a letdown in a raucous environment in the swamp. Um, I think in order for USF to be in this game, they're going to have to hit a couple of those deep shots like they did against Boise. And I just think it's one of those games where I think Florida just really outmuscles them in the trenches, especially early on, and gets ahead. And well, I think once they get up big, it's just going to be over, and they're going to be too reliant on some of those deep shots. So I'm going to take Florida and the points here. It's another one of those like uh, this week, these lines are all really like if this was like a 12-point spread or something a little bit shorter, I might lean more towards South Florida, but 17 and a half's a lot, and I'm going to stay with Florida on this one to cover in the swamp and kind of DJ Lagway and Florida to emerge and show that they're legit contenders with a rout against South Florida.
It's
Yeah,
the
I'm gonna go.
oh,
Or
no, you go. You go.
I was just gonna say, I think in that Boise game, there's a little more flukiness to that final score, than like meets the eye. Boise had a few turnovers. I think that, I mean, USF just has a lot of tough games in a row here, and they're on the road in the swamp. I don't know if they can come out and be as effective as they were against a Boise State team that's a little more unproven. So Florida's, I mean, they have a talent profile that could stack up to national championship contention. I think they flex their muscles a little bit here at home, and I'll take them to win and to cover that 17 and a half.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, it's the week of the HBCU for they North Carolina A&T's playing UCF, South Carolina State, South Carolina, huge in-state rivalry. Then you've got
Massive.
Bethune Cookman, Bethune Cookman versus Miami, another in-state rivalry. Um, and you have Grambling State, Ohio State. None of those four games have spreads on them, but let's see if one of them can be frisky. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, they won't be. There's one.
Probably South Carolina State.
FAMU, FAU could be a little frisky.
FAMU,
Yeah.
FAU could be because that's kind of both South Florida. That's like kind of
Yeah,
a
yeah.
little rivalry game.
There's probably a lot of high school rivals and
Yeah.
playing for those two teams.
Dude, probably Nes's boys.
Dude, absolutely.
Um, anyway, I actually have a funny story about remember how last week we were like, if you were listening, like your family or friends, and we were like shout out like John Rottinghouse for like being on the pod. One of my neighbors, his name's Brian Octavian. He was like me and Sam's neighbor.
Yeah, he's on.
He was like, dude, I'm watching. Why not shout me out? So I wanted to hope if Brian Octavian makes it to this segment, there's your shout out, Brian. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being
Noted
here.
Shout out,
Penn
Brian.
State fan.
Noted Penn State fan.
Ah,
Yeah.
I saw him commenting some nonsense on the Instagram a few weeks ago.
Did he have Penn State input?
This is not a Penn State podcast.
No, Brian.
Yeah, not at
what
all.
are they rated?
My cousin.
Too high, Joshua. Too high.
I hope my cousin listens to this too. My cousin Luke was texting me all week about like how, like what a week for the Big Ten. Like the SEC's so fraud, and I was like, the one Big Ten team played anybody. How Penn State played Nevada. Like let's just give it a little time here before we just make generalizations.
You guys are making me dislike Penn State more and more.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like they just make it too easy. They really do make it too easy.
Their fans are really.
It's insane.
The delusion is the piece for me that really
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of that. So
Yeah, it's crazy delusion. Like let's just hold on one beat before we just
like Alabama fans might be more realistic than Penn State fans, which it says a lot.
Sam, what was give me you were telling me this the other day. What was your like to the SE's like Penn State is to I don't want to steal your take, but
No, I'm learning it here very quickly. It's the A&M nonsense as well. Like they all wear they all wear their rings around. It's a little bit weird. They all have these like weird Aggie terms that's really weird. They like think the midnight yell is cool. It's not. They love their like weird traditions, and it's different at Penn State. And I sympathize with the fellow A&M haters because I see it firsthand in Pittsburgh. I don't want to like get on this huge Penn State hate train, but it's just the fans are delusional and they like tend to not know what they're talking about. And it's like your kids go to Penn State. They are in fifth grade and they're giving delusional Penn State takes. So you were born to just hate their takes, and you have to live there to understand. And
Now,
I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it quickly
just so,
here in Texas.
just so I don't like create war in my family, Luke Bowser, like I'm not hating on you. You do know ball. Like you need to take what you need to take your bias of Penn
And keep
State
it off Instagram
and
stories.
just know you have the bias. Just yeah, and keep the infographics about Drew Aller and just keep it to yourself until
Infographics.
yeah, like I don't need to
What
see
are
it. Like,
these infographics saying?
no, it's just like this is the year infographics. Like I don't know, like they basically compare him to Jesus, and then like it's like well he was kind of born in a stable. They both like Ohio's the Jerusalem of like the Bethlehem of the Middle East. It's like all stuff like that.
And I have to
Uh,
ask, what are they
what are
rated?
they rated?
Did you just
Political
call Ohio
misin-
the Bethlehem of the Middle East?
I was fucking around. Um,
political misinformation infographic posting daughter or Drew Aller infographic posting son.
yeah.
It's a tough ask.
That's so good.
A lot of girls at Elon would have something to say about that.
Oh, that's so good. There's nothing like a good political infographic right around election time. Just
Yeah.
you're
Read
showing.
the fine print to really see what it's talking about. You won't be able to see it at the first glance though.
Oh goodness. Oh, we have too much fun doing this. Guys, with that being, what's up?
Should we just say our super dog?
Yeah. Let's go to
Yeah.
Super Dog real quick. Let's rapid fire the Super Dog before we drift off to bed.
All right, Chuck, you hit it first.
Yeah, so my super dog is going to be Missouri State. I watched them this week, like on ESPN Plus. They were friskier than I imagined. They're actually an FBS team now. If you didn't know, they made the jump from FCS to FBS. I like what I saw from their quarterback. I'm not gonna act like I know a ton about either of these teams. I know Marshall lost a ton of production. Marshall relocated to Southern Miss, so and instead of a plane crash, their coach they just wiped out everybody. So I'm sorry. I love dude. We are
Second
Marshall.
genocide of the program.
Yeah, well, We Are Marshall is my favorite movie.
World War II.
Matthew McConaughey. Yeah, basically the
Gosh.
second genocide of. That's a great way to put it. So yeah, I'm Thundering Herd. They're a 10-point favorite. Give me
I hope people
give
aren't
me
listening to that.
Missouri State, and then hopefully
Kid's gonna get disbarred before he has it.
yeah, hopefully this clip I don't get a job because of that. But keep going.
All right, so Sam,
This
who
is
do you
your
got?
job now.
Yeah, true.
I previewed this earlier, teased this earlier. Shout out to Jack Mill over in Lexington, Kentucky. The whole world is going to be on Ole Miss. Everyone says they're going to run it up against Kentucky this year. They're back. Ole Miss is going to smoke Kentucky because they should have beat them last year. But no, give me the big blue. Go Wildcats.
I like that. I got it at plus 10.5 for you.
Plus
Nice.
10.5. Give me the big blue nation. Shout out Jack Mill. I hope your boots on the ground. This pod's with you.
Respect.
Let's go.
And I know Ole Miss is going to be the biggest public darling of the week.
True. All right, Duska, who do you got?
All right. Scrolling through the slate, nothing really jumped out to me. So I know Rutgers had a bit of a tough time against the Bobcats of Ohio last week.
Ooh.
I don't know if this Shiano squad has ever really played up to their full potential. So I'll take the Miami of Ohio fighting Roethlisberger's to
What's
to
that
hopefully at
spread
least
looking like?
16.5. Hopefully at least cover against the Scarlet Knights in the birthplace of college football on Saturday.
Piscataway.
That was a very good. For not knowing anything about either team, that was a great. Yeah, I'm hooked on your super dog. Man.
Thanks. All right.
For us, I put the podcast, or I put the spreadsheet, so y'all can go in there. I have the 4 games that I think we can pick, but y'all can change them, whatever you want. I put y'all super dogs in. Mine is going to be the JMU Dukes against little Friday night special in
I love it.
Louisville, Kentucky against the Cards. Big Louisville guy this year. Just want to see how much they get up for a game versus Bob Chesney, former Holy Cross legend. When they come to town on a murky Friday night. It's going to be. I guarantee it's going to be. Weather's going to be a little weird. Just see what happens when the Dukes come to town.
Did
If
you
you don't
like
bring
check
your
the
A game, they might
Did
just
you
bite
check
you.
the weather report, or is that just a feeling you have?
I just got a feeling it's going to be like foggy.
Oh, okay. Fog is in the air.
Let me look at this now.
Atmosphere.
It is going to rain on Friday
No.
in Louisville, Kentucky. Friday,
Yeah.
late rain.
Ooh,
It's written in the stars.
that's spooky.
Yeah, I had an itch.
Hell yeah, guys. Well, I really enjoyed this pod. College football is a wonderful thing, and we just keep getting reminded of that week in and week out. This has been an awesome excuse to watch games and call it productive, as Duska said. This is truly one of my favorite parts of each week. Hopefully we'll have this pod out by Wednesday or Thursday. If you're listening and you've got this far, again, thank you so much. We appreciate.
Do we give them
the
something to
support.
comment if they're still here?
Yeah. Arch, give them something.
Give us your super dog this week.
Ooh,
Yeah, there you
I
go.
like that. I like that. The public super dog.
And we
And
will
if you're
also
still
write these
listening-
down.
If you're still listening, make sure to listen next week because we have an epic week 3 slate ahead of us. So just make sure to tune in next week. We got some big time games and what we're calling the frisky week 2. We could have a big reaction day too. So thank you for listening this far. Give us your predictions. Give us your super dogs. Like and comment on socials and subscribe to the channel.
Remember, super dogs got to be an 8-point spread at least. So
Let's play by the rules here, everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, there's probably no one here,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Mr. Duska, play by the rules. Yeah.
He's too busy
Or
watching
if you're
procedural shows.
listening on
He's not
Spotify, text
listening
one
to
of
this
us your
shit.
super dog.
Huh?
I said if you're listening and not on YouTube, text one of us your super dog because there's
And leave a
100%
5-star rating.
Yeah,
There's
sure.
100% chance that whoever's listening has one of our personal
5-star
dogs.
reviews, how we keep doing it.
Help us jump into the algorithm a little bit by leaving us a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify. We have one currently left by me. So we're gonna try and double those numbers by next week. So let's have 2 5-star reviews.
Tell a friend, tell an
next
enemy.
week. Actually,
Tell a loved
you know
one.
what? Let's get a little bold. Let's 4x the amount of 5-star reviews we have because there's podcast, all of which could
we
easily
could all
leave
leave
a
a
5-star review.
5-star rating.
So let's see if we can break 4 and then we'll climb from there.
I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, you know. And then corporate football's back this week too, if you're into that.
Yeah, go Birds.
We go Lurs
If
always.
you're into that suit and tie jargon and mess, I'll stick with my Saturdays.
Yeah, no, I by week 8 we'll do some NFL stuff because I know we will get into the NFL. NFL just takes a little bit to get our toes dipped in and we're college football.
I like December.
There's just too much overreacting to do right now in college football.
Yeah.
The reason starts to set in week 8. So
Well,
The
if the
games are so
Falcons
much
do
more
win on
fun, too.
if Sunday, there will be a Michael Penix take, maybe on this podcast.
Yeah.
And I'll go rogue. But if not, you'll have no idea that the Falcons even played because I will not talk about it.
Also, I like the Micah Parsons trade for the Cowboys. No need to overpay another star.
Yeah. Well, my Packers pick to go to the AFC,
Looking good now.
Championship. If you would have had that ticket a week before and then the Micah Parsons trade, like, looks good right now. But you gotta
I'm telling you, the listeners, they should start listening.
It's a good trade if you want a guy
wallets.
who's going to quit on your team.
Yeah.
I'll take Leonard Floyd, but that's just me.
Oh, goodness. All right. Well, listen, we're going to stop this recording. This has been another episode of the Forward Pass Pod. Like, follow on Instagram. Smash the subscribe button on YouTube. And
Leave a review on Pod.
5-star review on Apple Podcast or Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. So thank you guys so much for tuning in.